Welcome, everybody. My name is Andrew Patricio. And at BizLaunch, our objective is to teach business owners the steps they need to take to build a profitable business of their own. And the way we do this is through our webinars, through our content, through our seminars, workshops, and training programs that we run. But one of the topics that business owners really spend a lot of time on and ask a lot of questions about and want to get right is marketing. I really believe that once we get our marketing right, it solves a lot of our problems in business. It really does. It solves a lot of our problems because just think of it, how many things are linked to marketing. If your marketing is right, you'll get more sales, which improves your cash flow. All of those things are linked to marketing. So let's go through some tips on what you need to do to improve your marketing and build a more successful business. And I think before we think about marketing or before we start discussing marketing, there are a couple of base principles or guidelines that you need to really be aware of to make your marketing more effective. And I think we've got to be very, very clear on this, that marketing works so much better when you're strategic. Marketing works so much better when you get the basics right. And the first thing is to have a really clear understanding of who our target market is. The more clarity we have, the better it is. You need to know which customer can you supply better than anybody else. Who is your ideal client? When you create marketing materials, when you create email campaigns, when you do any marketing, who are you going after? And you need to have clarity on this because this improves your marketing. The second thing is we need structure. We need structure in our business because when we have structure, things just get done properly. And I think the more structure we have, the better it is. Obviously, we're business owners. We don't want too many processes or too many systems. We want simple ways to ensure that we're on track. And this is where developing a marketing plan, I think, is really key. And I'm going to show you a simple template that you can use for that. The third thing is we need to set aside time. We need to put aside money so that we can market our products or services. And this is really key, that we understand that marketing is about investing. It's about investing time. It's about investing money. It's about understanding those customers, and it's about reaching them. That's really what marketing is all about. The fourth thing is we need to be consistent. And this is really key, that you make decisions about this. What colors are you going to be using? How do we standardize our services? How do we standardize the way we answer the telephone? How do we standardize our customer experience? Because I still believe in 2018, the one competitive advantage we have as small business owners is our customer service. What we got to make sure that we standardize this, that we make it really good, that we make it consistent, that every single time somebody comes and buy from us, they get great service. And this is really key. The last thing, which is something that is really key and very, very important, is we've got to be measuring our marketing. I can't tell you how many times I've heard from business owners, and they really don't know which of their marketing is working. They're spending hours and hours on social media, not knowing if it's giving them a return on investment, at least on their time. And this is something we got to be very, very careful of, is that we do things for the sake of doing them without measuring the effectiveness. So I'd rather you do nothing than do marketing and not measure it. And this is really key, that we measure it. We spent $400. How many leads did we get? And really what we've got to be thinking about, I spent $100. How much did our database grow? It's really about measuring these things. Sending out emails and seeing the response rate and things like that. You've got to be measuring stuff. And I think from now on, every single marketing tool you use, you need to be measuring. Here's a really simple template that you can use. Again, very, very simple. And the objective here is to simplify things. I believe that as small business owners, we don't want to complicate our lives. So if we can come up with a small system, a small process, a one-page document that we can use to keep us on track, I think that's a good decision. And this document is a really simple one that you can use. What are your marketing objectives? So what do you want to achieve, let's say, over the next 90 days? Which customers are you going to target? And some of us will target existing customers. We may target demographics that we're going after already. And some of us might decide to, maybe spend a little bit of money on diversifying our target market a little bit. Again, these are decisions we need to make. Thirdly is who's our competitors. We've got to be very, very clear as a business owner of who we're competing against. We've got to be doing research on our competitors. We've got to understand how much they sell their products or services for. We've got to understand what are their strengths and weaknesses, because this makes us better marketers, makes us better business owners. The fourth thing is, what value do we bring? What value do we give to our customers? And this is really key that you understand this, that as a business owner, this should be your obsession. What is that thing that you do that encourages people to buy from you? So they'll say, you know what, we buy from this company because they make this easier, or they're reliable, or whatever it is. Think of that thing. The fifth thing is, what marketing tools are you going to use? And I think this is where we need to reflect. We need to look over the last 12 months and ask ourselves what really worked for us and what didn't work for us. And those things that worked, we need to be doing more of. And the things that didn't work, maybe we should discontinue. But it's really key that we very, very clear on what marketing tools we're going to be using. The sixth one is your customer service. And for some of you online, your customer service is absolutely brilliant already. But for those of us that are not sure about our customer service, maybe this is when we start going through it. Maybe introduce training programs, maybe upgrade what we're doing, maybe just improve. These are the type of things we need to be working on. What is our lead nurturing strategy? So when somebody clicks on one of our links, when somebody phones our company, when somebody responds to marketing materials, how do we deal with that? And I believe if we have a simple system like this that we use on a regular basis, it's going to make us more effective business owners. We got to have structure. We got to have systems. We got to have processes. We got to have steps in place to make it easier for us to market more effectively. So let's go back a little bit. Earlier on, I mentioned the importance of having a clear idea of who your customer is. Once you've identified who your customer is, you need to really understand them. What are your customers' challenges? And the way you identify your customers' challenges are by sitting down and asking them, saying, what problems do you have that we can solve? And these are the type of things we need to understand as business owners, is that we are problem solvers. A customer's got a challenge, a customer needs a product, a customer needs a service, and we the people that solve those challenges for them. We are the people that solve those problems for them. And we got to keep doing that, because if we're not solving problems, what are we in business for? The second thing is, what motivates your customers to buy? You've really got to understand what influences their buying decisions. Is it security? Is it looking more beautiful? Is it looking younger? Is it being more efficient? Is it saving money? Whatever it is, we need to understand that customer. We really need to understand them, because once we understand them, we can identify what triggers their purchasing decisions. And if we can identify what triggers their purchasing decisions, we can then create marketing materials to suit that. So when it comes to identifying our ideal customer, there are two things that we often look at. We look at demographics and we look at psychographics. And I believe for some of us, actually looking at psychographics is more accurate, because for some of us, age is actually not that important. When people make purchasing decisions, often about certain items, age could be totally irrelevant for us. So demographics can be really interesting, but not for all of our businesses. So let's go through an example here that I've got on my screen. Is, for example, maybe my customers are concerned with their health and their appearance. They want a healthy lifestyle, but don't have much time. They enjoy going online in the evenings and spend time on Facebook. They favor quality over price, which is often a lot of our customers, we have customers like that. They career focused. Maybe some of your customers are career focused and they like to spend time with their friends. So really understanding your customer, I think, is a good marketing decision. You know, it makes your marketing more effective. And this is something we need to understand. This is the objective. The objective here is to improve our marketing. That is our objective. Our objective is to improve our marketing. The other thing we can look at are our demographics. So you might say, for example, our customers are high income, 55 to 64, double income. They drive luxury cars, eat organic food, only cook on weekends, eat out regularly. Whatever it is, the more information you have, the better it is for you. And I think this is really, really key, that you as a business owner, think about these things. Think about really understanding your customer. Really, really understanding your customer. And the more clarity you have, the better it is for you. So think about this. Is there a way that I can do research? Is there a way that I can understand very, very clearly what my customers' needs are and what motivates them? Because then I can identify products and services that they will buy. You know, this should haunt you and I. This is the thing that should keep you and I up at night. Because you've got to understand that if you do not offer people value, if you do not do things that are different, that are unique, that are special, people are going to go to your competitors. So as a business owner, you need to have clarity. That's the first thing. The second thing that came to mind as I was doing this is your customers have got to understand what your product or service is. I find this is a big, big issue, is that often we have difficulty explaining what we do. And you got to be very, very careful of this. You got to be very, very careful of this. Some of us get caught up in using acronyms or using technical speak that we're so used to, and our customers really don't get it. And just be very, very careful of this. I see this regularly, where people have great products, great services, but they just cannot explain it. I was sitting with a guy on Friday at a meeting, and the one thing I said to him, and he's in a very, very technical industry. I mean, he's in the medical industry. What he does is very, very complicated, but he made it so easy for me to understand. The way he explained it is he told a story. He said, when you're in this situation and this is your issue, well, we've got the solution for that. And he never spoke about the technology. He never spoke about how they created it. He never spoke about none of that. All he spoke about was, how does my product solve your problem? And secondly, this is why you should buy it. And just be very, very careful of this, is that a lot of us get caught up in the fancy language that we like because it makes us sound impressive, but our customers don't understand. The thing you've got to think about as a business owner is, what is your value proposition? And this often makes me scratch my head. And it really does when I speak to business owners and I'm not clear on exactly what differentiates them or why they're even doing this thing. But I think the question we need to answer for ourselves is, when it comes to our business, what is it that we do? What is it that we do that solves the customer's problem, that improves their situation, that benefits the customer? And this is the key thing that we've got to focus on, is we got to focus on what value we're giving to our customers. So our value proposition has got to tell the ideal customer, the one that we want to sell to, that we've done research and we've realized is the right person to buy our product or service, why they should buy from us and not from our competition. And really, this is what we've got to understand, is that you want to own that space in your industry, in your niche. You want to own that space. When people speak about your product or service, people get it straight away. They say, okay, I know, we buy that. It may be a little bit expensive, but this is the reason we do this. And you've heard this before. I'm sure you've heard customers saying this. they're a little bit more expensive, but, and that's exactly what you want them to say about your product or service, is you want them to focus on the benefits of your product. So think about this, when it comes to identifying your value proposition. What specialized knowledge and experience do you have that your competitors don't? Think about this. Is there, and maybe this is where we get a pen and paper or we get a whiteboard and we're very, very clear on what it is that we do differently. What do we do that is measurably better? For example, you can say, this, let's say, I don't know, whatever, this machine saves you 2 hours, or this machine makes it easier for you to do, or this machine, whatever. And these are the type of things we need to try and identify. We need to try and identify those things that our customers value and it'll influence their buying decision. So what is that thing that you do measurably better? How will your product or service save the customers money? And for a lot of our industries, this is really key. And for a lot of us, this is our competitive advantage. And I don't like focusing too much on price, but the reality is when it comes to small business, this is often one of our competitive advantages. The fact that we can offer a more value for money, the fact that we can give a more fair price because we don't have such high overheads. And these are the type of things we need to identify. But remember, you don't only want to focus on money. I don't think that's enough of a differentiator. You want more, especially as your business grows and scales. Tell customers what problem your product or service solves. And that's really what we've got to be doing. And the things that customers are looking for, the things that you and I are looking for when we buy products or services, we want products or services that save us time. That is one of our big drivers. One of our big drivers is because we want to save time. It's a key resource that we don't have access to too much of, and we want to save it. Things that make us more attractive. Again, these things are the things that focus on our, I don't want to say insecurity, but the reality is that it's those things that are important to us as consumers. And a lot of you, that's what you're doing. You are making your customers more attractive by whatever you're doing. If you do hair or you do nails or you do makeup or whatever, you're an artist or you're whatever, these are the type of things we've got to think about. Products that or services that simplify things. Think of it. This is a key thing that influences your decision. With software that we use, with hardware that we use, with equipment that we use, the fact that it simplifies our lives is quite a key thing. If it makes us more money, this is really key for us. Reduces our risk. I mean, why do we buy insurance, for our businesses? Because this is one of the things that we value. We value this reduction in our risk. Things that organize, that make our life easier. We buy things that just solve problems for us. And I'm sure every single one of you can think of online of products or services that you bought that you absolutely love. And you think, how did I ever work without this thing? Reduces cost and a whole lot of other things that influence our decision. So I want you to look at these examples on the screen and think about this and say, what are the key words or what are the key benefits? What is the key value that I offer my customers? Because those are the things I need to speak about. Is it prestige maybe? Is it wellness? Whatever. These are the type of things we need to identify. So I identified a couple of examples of things that you may do online. And the reason I chose these is because they services for small business owners, and a lot of us will know them. So Shopify on the top left-hand side is a e-commerce platform that makes it really easy for you and I to get online. And for us, that's really, for some of us, it's a key thing. What tool can I use, or what platform, what software can I use to get online really, really quickly? The bottom left-hand side is a software called Hootsuite, which is the best way to manage your social media according to them. And you've got to understand that when you use services like this, and if they work in your favor, you're going to rave about these things. You're going to tell other business owners. You're going to say, you know what, if you want to sell stuff online, just use Shopify. Or if you want to manage your social media, use Hootsuite, or some of you might use Buffer or other tools out there, these are the type of things we start saying. And the reason we repeat these things over and over again is because it solves the problem. Or MailChimp on the top right-hand side for email. And for people that have used it, obviously not everybody, but some people love it. And then they'll speak about the simplicity, the ease, the all those things that are really key when using products or services. Or the bottom right-hand side is FreshBooks, which is small business accounting software that makes billing really easy. So again, just think about this as a business owner. What am I doing for my customer? What value am I offering her so that she can speak about me in positive ways to other people? So here's a little marketing test for you as a business owner. Is first of all, what do you offer? And most of us online will know we offer certain services or certain products. The second question you should always ask yourself, and remember the first question, actually, let me go back to that one. The first question is, you've got to be able to explain it in a way your customer or potential customer understands so they can purchase it. So just remember that. The second one is, what benefits do you offer? Why should I use your product or service? And what do I need to do to buy it? And I think these three questions are some of the most important questions that we answer in marketing. Is, what do we sell? How will it solve the customer's problems or benefit them? And how can I buy this thing? These are really three key questions that we need to have answered. And just think about our websites. Just think about our websites. Our website needs to make sure that it answers that question. What do we sell? What are the benefits? And click here to buy. So let me go through the buying process. Some of you maybe seen this before, but basically customers go through a process. They get to know you. They get to like you. Once they trust you, then they buy your product or service. So your objective is really, really simple, is to get your customer to the trust. You've got to get your customer to that place. And the way they trust you is by what your other customers say. So this is really key that we understand this, that we've got to work on this. We've got to work on building relationships. We've got to work on educating our customers and potential customers, because the more comfortable they are, the more knowledge they have, the better it is for them, because then they will buy our product, and the better it is for us. So understand the importance of this. So you want them to trust you, and then you want them to try it. And once they try it, they'll buy it, and then they'll do it again, and then they'll refer you. And this is really what we want to be doing, is we want to get them to know us, and usually by marketing or advertising, we want to get them to like us, building up a relationship with them. We want them to trust us. And this is really the key. And then they'll become referrers. And this is what you want. You know, the one thing that I find nowadays is, you know, business is very, very different, but business is exactly the same as it's always been. One of the key things for us is always testimonials. And you've got to understand the importance of this, because testimonials for your business are third-party endorsement. It's other people saying that you are brilliant. And you've got to understand the power of this. You know, there are businesses built on this. Airbnb has been built on this, on other people saying, go and stay here. You know, there's so many different companies that are doing this. Uber does the same thing, where you rate your driver. You know, there are so many examples nowadays where people's buying decisions are influenced by what other people say. For example, if any of you buy books on Amazon, or even if you buy books in a bookstore, that's often influenced by what other people are saying. And you've got to understand the power of this. And this is what you want. You want your customers to speak about you. You want your customers to say wonderful things about you. But to do that, there are a couple of really simple rules. One is, offer them absolutely brilliant service. It's really key that you understand this. It's really key that you and I, as business owners, offer our customers brilliant service. Always arrive on time. This is a basic principle. It's really not complicated, that we always show up on time. Why? Because this is key. You know, that people, this is one of our biggest frustrations, especially with people in the service business, is they don't get the basics right. They don't show up on time. And once your customers really love what you're doing, they're going to rave about you. And I believe this in 2018 is that if you don't surprise your customer, if you don't wow your customer, if you don't do these things, surviving is very, very difficult. I believe the businesses, big or small, that are growing in leaps and bounds are the ones that are trying, if not always succeeding, but really trying to give their customers better customer service and trying to delight and surprise them. And I want you to think about this. Is there a way that you can surprise and wow your customers? Because if you do this, they're going to speak about you. They're going to go to your Facebook page. They're going to go to your Google page. They're going to put great reviews on there. So get testimonials and reviews on a regular basis. When your customer says, I love your product or I love your service, ask them to put it in writing. Ask them to put it on video. Ask them to put it on your Facebook page. It's really key. And you've got to make sure that you do this. Here's a very good example. I thought, let me show you an example. And I thought, I'll show you an example of the BizLaunch. But if you look at, this is really, really good reviews. And the most important part of these reviews is these are third-party reviews. People have gone onto our Facebook page or gone onto our Google page and said good things about us. And you've got to understand the importance of doing this for your business. This is a little thing, but it could be a key thing. Because if your customers are happy with your service, ask them. I often ask people to go to our Facebook page, and I encourage you to do that after our webinar, is go to the facebook.com/bizlaunch and tell people how you love our webinars. But, on Google, I never ask people, but they still do it. But the key thing, getting reviews is good for your business because everybody makes decisions, or just about everybody makes decisions based on reviews. So if nothing else, go this afternoon, make sure that you have a Google business page for your business. Every now and then I buy some wonderful, simple, easy to read books that have wonderful examples of things we need to do. And this guy, Jeffrey Fox, writes very, very short, simple books, but every single one of his books I like because they just have these little gems of things that you should be doing on a regular basis. And these are the 10 things he says you need to do today. Firstly, send a handwritten note, a simple thing. Write it on a piece of paper, send it to a client, thank them for the business. Send an article of interest, and hopefully you do this on a regular basis. Find something interesting that your customers would have to search for and share it with them. Share it with them via email or cut it, clip it, send it to them. Do these type of things. Talk to a happy customer and ask them who else they could refer you to. It's a really simple thing. Phone your happy customers and say, you know what, we're really happy that you're happy with our customer service. Is there anybody else that you can think of that we can phone? Send a thank you gift. Simple little things, for referrals. Give your business card to somebody important and say, can you share this for me? But be very, very specific. Tell them who your target market is. If you want to get through to marketing people, say that to them. Send a letter to the editor of a magazine your customers read just so that you can get your name out there. Add 15 people to your mailing list, by just sending them an email, a direct personal email without spamming them. Maybe leave a compelling voicemail. Make an appointment with a client, call a client. And often we're sitting in our offices, with 10 minutes or 15 minutes or 20 minutes or half an hour to kill. This is when we need to be doing these really simple things that bring us great business. The other thing I really love is email marketing. I believe that email marketing is still one of the best ways to connect with customers. And in the case of BizLaunch, you get our emails on a weekly basis, and that works for us. It's a great way for us to get more people registered for a webinar, to speak about the brand, to connect with business owners, to connect with corporate clients. It's a really key part of our business. So this is what I encourage you to do, is if you haven't done it yet, I encourage you to do it now or soon, is start using email to educate, to share really useful content, and to build a database. because every single one of you have been to these sites where they allow you to download something, where they allow you to watch a video, or they allow you to attend a course, and you get onto their database and you listen to their stuff, and then eventually you buy something from them. And these are exactly the same things we need to be doing, because these things are simple, but they're very effective. So little basic things that we need to be doing is have a sign-up page on your website. You know, these are the type of things we need to do. Create a newsletter that you send out regularly to your customers. You know, you share useful content with people. Send it out regularly and personalize it. Make sure you use something like MailChimp or SendGrid or Constant Contact or whatever it is, because it makes it easier. You can do it in advance. You can set it up. You can personalize it. There are so many different options out there. The other thing I encourage you to look at are free marketing tools, just simple stuff that we can do. You know, for example, free consultation. You know, advertise the fact that people can speak to you for 15 or 20 minutes, ask their questions, and you're going to educate them so they have enough information to make a buying decision. But consultations are really, really useful. Free demonstration, show how your product works. You know, so demonstrate it. Demonstrate the effectiveness of your products or services. These are things that we can be doing. For some of us, we should be doing free seminars on a regular basis. We should get a room, bring a bunch of people in there, and educate them about our products or services so that it influences their buying decisions. We can use things like Craigslist or Kijiji, or there's so many other different tools out there where you can market your products or services. Obviously, this is not going to work for everybody, but I want you to start thinking about this. You know, is there a way of doing this? You know, write blogs, for example. You know, just get some really good content with some really good links. Let people follow you, and as they build relationships with you, and it's really about building relationships. It's really about communicating with people regularly, because these are the opportunities. List your businesses on online directories. Just go online, type in online directories for your industry. You'll be amazed at how many there are there. You know, speak at conferences. I'm going to a conference next week on economic development. These are opportunities for you and I to spread our word, to spread our experience, our expertise, and to grow our businesses and give away free coupons. These are some of the things that work really, really well and help us grow our business. Another simple thing is enter business award competitions, not because you want awards, because of the marketing that comes with it. You know, you enter, you send in a video, or you put in an application, and they mention your business name. Simple things like that. Host free events, maybe an annual barbecue or a get-together, a whatever. Just think about, just be creative in your community. Come up with ideas where, you know, you can get people together, you can get people connecting, you can get people speaking about your brand. Build a referral network. Identify 5 businesses or 7 businesses that can refer business to you, that you know, like, and trust, because this is really key. Develop partnerships for co-promotion. You know, maybe find another business, for example, that sells to a similar target market as you. Speak to them and say, you know, can we maybe bundle our products? When you send out your email, you know, have a link to my website, and when I send out my email, you put a link to my, you know, to my website. You know, these are some of the opportunities, and try and think about these things. Is there a way of doing this? You know, and it's amazing when you try and be creative, when you try and be innovative, when you try and come up with different ideas, what happens? And join groups on LinkedIn. There are so many opportunities out there that we can create. The key thing we've got to remember, marketing is about getting noticed. I really believe that. It's about getting noticed. Whether we have to use balloons, whether we have to come up with daily specials or weekly specials or monthly specials, whether we have to dress up like an idiot and call people into our business, it doesn't matter. The key thing is we've got to get noticed, because if we don't get noticed, people won't find us. If they don't find us, we die. It's really quite simple. And we've got to be very, very careful of this, because in 2018, it's hard. I find it more and more difficult every year to get noticed, because there's just so much noise. There are so many competitors. There are so many options, and this complicates marketing. So just understand that sometimes the traditional things are the most important. The other thing that some of you may be doing is maybe advertising flyers, these promotional cards. How do we make these things more effective? It's really not that complicated. Sometimes it's just sitting down with a design expert that really understands marketing and saying, what can I do to improve my marketing materials? And these are some of the things that I find that we all tend to neglect as business owners. We don't always get the best designers to design our business cards or our websites or our flyers or whatever it is. And this is one of our downfalls. So when you create marketing materials, there are a couple of really important things. Firstly, is make sure that you use powerful headlines that attract people's attention. That is the first thing. Secondly, make sure you have good offers that I'm going to notice, because if I don't notice your offer, I'm probably not going to call you. Make sure you use images, photographs that attract my attention. Use color. Have a strong call to action. Phone us now. Email us now. Go to our website now. And then distribute wisely by targeting your market. These are a couple of the basic things, but I think it's really, really key that before you send out any marketing materials out of your business, that you go through this list and say, does this thing attract people's attention? Is there a call to action? Is this really appealing to my customers? And here's a couple of examples, and I encourage you to do this. Go online like I did, and just look for brilliant flyers. And there are people out there on the internet that have created lists that you and I can learn from. We can then go to designers and say, I want something like this. Find your key competitors in your industry, collect their flyers, put them in a binder so that when you start marketing, when you create flyers, you know exactly what you're looking for. One of the key things that for a lot of us, or maybe I'm speaking for myself here, can be quite frustrating is creating content, but we have no option. We really have no option. If we want to grow our business, if we want to build our brand, if we want to position ourselves as experts in the field, we have to create educational content. Things like blogs, we need to be blogging regularly. I was working on our blog yesterday and I read some of the content. We did some absolutely brilliant content on there, and we should keep creating and keep sharing. On your website, have some really interesting stuff, really cool stuff that your customers want, that they need to go and find, that they can find on your website. Content, videos, those type of things. On Facebook, share really useful content. I think Facebook is becoming one of those things. It's becoming a really, really busy place, and it's becoming more and more difficult to stand out. And what it does is it forces us to be more creative, because our content's got to be unique. It's got to be different. It's got to be educational. It's got to be of value. Otherwise, people don't come back to our page. Creating videos. I've been working on a couple of videos over the last few weeks, and I'm starting to get into it, and I'm sure I'll improve as we go along. But it's really about creating good content that will educate your customer. Maybe sharing more content on Twitter, maybe running some educational seminars or teaching a course, but these are the type of things you want to do. Or podcasts. I don't know if any of you love reading podcasts, but I mean, listening to podcasts. I enjoy listening to good quality podcasts. And for some of you, maybe this is an opportunity. Maybe that's your thing, especially if you have a face for radio like me. I think podcasts are absolutely brilliant. The other thing you want to do is you want to grow your online community. And I understand that for a lot of us, this can be really frustrating, including myself, because, we put in a lot of effort and the return is not always there. But I think in the case of communities, and I think this is really key, is we've got to think of long term. That if I keep growing my community, I've got the opportunity to share content on Twitter, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Pinterest, on YouTube, on all of these platforms, and people start talking about me, and this helps build my brand. So this is what I think we need to do, all of us, is decide which are the platforms that our customers spend time on. That's the first thing. Once we've decided that, is just focus on one or two and do those really well. And this is really, really key, is do those really well. And maybe some of you, start running webinars. Maybe that's your thing. You're going to start running webinars, educating your customers, and building a community like that. These are the decisions we need to make. Another thing we may do that is very simple, it can be very, very effective if done properly, is Google ads or Facebook ads or anything like that. But again, I do not want small business owners wasting money. I think we've got to be very, very careful. A lot of these things are so easy to do. Because they're so easy to do, we do them and we don't do them properly. And because we don't do them properly, we waste our money. So just be very, very careful of this. So even though Facebook advertising is easy to do, doesn't mean it's going to be effective. Just because Google advertising is easy to do, doesn't mean it's going to be effective. I often recommend to small business owners is start off like this. Target your market. Identify keywords that your customers are searching for. Get advice from experts in the field that know what they're doing. And maybe pay them and then spend this fixed amount every month. And then measure, measure. And if it works, keep doing more. If it doesn't work, just stop doing it. Another thing that we've been doing over the last 6 months or so is updating our website. And if any of you haven't been to our website recently, go there, go and check it out. Go and see what we are doing. And I believe that every week it's getting better. And I think like anything, once you build a good framework, once you're on the right platform, building a website it takes time. That's what I believe. And we've recently moved to WordPress, which I think was a very, very good decision. And like any technology, it can be a little bit frustrating sometimes, but I can just see how we're sharing content better. I can just see how we're sharing downloads better. I can see how we're improving as a business, and this is going to pay off in the long term. Maybe not in the short term, but in the long term, this is really going to benefit BizLaunch because we're building a quality base for our educational content. But the other basics of a website, make sure you keep it up to date. Make sure it's responsive. And this is really key that you be very careful of this, is that you create a site and then people go and see it on their phone and it just doesn't appear perfectly. Just be very careful of that. I had a very good example today. We updated something on our site and I noticed, for example, when I see it on my phone, it doesn't look perfect, which is something you've got to be careful of. Keep the layout simple. The simpler, actually, I think in websites nowadays, less is more. I really believe that. I don't want too much information on our website. I want the right information on our website, and that's key. So keep the layout simple. Include testimonials for credibility. Get video testimonials on your website. We're going to be working on that over the next couple of weeks. I've just got to make a decision when I'm going to do it, and then we're going to have some video testimonials on some of our programs. Why? Because people trust videos more than they trust writing. Develop an online marketing plan. I think this is so key that we think about this. How are we going to draw traffic? Once your website is built properly, how do you bring traffic to your website? Build a landing page for specific campaigns. Add great content and remove the useless stuff. These are some of the basics, but really key basics that if we get right, we can succeed. One of my favorite examples of a site that I really like is Airbnb. And the reason I like it is just the simplicity of it. And I like simplicity. I really do. I'm always trying to look at our website and say, is this easy to understand? Is it easy to know what to do? And is it trustworthy? These are some of the things that I'm looking for all the time in my site. I recently thought I'd share some marketing books with you, and these are 4 of my favorites. And I can confidently say that if you bought any one of these 4, you'd be happy. The first one on the left-hand side is by a guy called John Jantsch, and I really like his writing. It's really simple, no rocket science involved here, no massive change the world type of strategies. It's really simple marketing, but I really like it. The second one in the middle here is called Building a Story Brand. Absolutely brilliant. I encourage you to buy this book. It'll change the way you think about targeting your customer. The 4th one at the bottom is an oldie, but really a brilliant book by J. Conrad Levinson. I think he wrote the book that a lot of these other books refer to when they speak about marketing for small business. And on the right-hand side here, Launch, which is also another great book that just helps you understand what you need to be doing when you're trying to sell stuff online. And if any of you listen to Jeff Walker's podcast, you'll really like him. He's a nice, down to earth guy that teaches you how to become a better marketer, which is really what we need to do. So let me just summarize in very simple form. Identify your ideal customer. This is really key. Just focusing on this slide is more than enough. If you just focus on this slide and do these things, you'll be okay. So identify your ideal customer, differentiate yourself, come up with the key benefits that make you different, unique, or special. Develop a marketing plan, a simple document that you're going to use that's going to keep you on track. Build a brand. You've got to understand the value of that. One day you're going to want to sell your business, and if people recognize your brand, you can make more money out of it. I was looking at the example today. I don't know if anybody's been watching the news. Amazon have decided they're going to start a medical company, and the shares of all these other companies went down massively. 30 billion was lost on the market today for people that offer health services. You know why? Because these guys have a brand, and it's such a powerful thing. Offer great service on a regular basis. Focus on that. Are we giving the best possible service? Get testimonials from those people that love you. Build a database. Start today. Start collecting information. Use free online marketing tools. Develop educational content and share it on a regular basis. Regularly share educational content and never stop marketing. I think if we stick to these basic tips, we're going to become better business owners. So here's some tips for you today. Get out there, do research, understand who your customer is. Identify your ideal customer. What problem do you solve for your customers? Think about this. Think about this and develop a simple marketing plan. I think if you focus on these things, just these four, I think it's going to make you a better business owner. And if you become a better business owner, you're going to improve your marketing. If you improve your marketing, you're going to make more money. It's really a simple thing. Hard to do, but a simple process. We've got to make sure that we understand this. Let's get the basics right. Let's focus on our marketing. Let's focus on our customers, and let's build a great business in 2018, because that's really what we want to do, is we want to build a business that we absolutely love, that people like buying from us and like working for us. That is my wish for every single one of you.